Hello there, my love, and welcome officially to this How to Build a Six-Figure Business Masterclass. This masterclass is going to be very technical. I'm going to be focusing a lot on strategy. I'm going to be giving you guys a blueprint for how you can actually go about building a six-figure business. So I am so excited about this. I realize every single time I start a masterclass or some type of content or a podcast interview, I'm always talking about how excited I am. And truly that's because I am excited. I have a very specific practice that I do before I either go live or do a masterclass to get myself to that excited point. So it's like I almost need to pronounce that that's exactly how I feel. But anyway, as I said, today's masterclass is all about how to build a six-figure business. And why I really wanted to create this masterclass was for really two reasons. One, okay, the whole six-figure business is almost redundant. Really, what I'm trying to help you to do is figure out exactly what you need to do to build any type of success in your business. I just see so many people struggling when it comes to building a business online. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to spend their time. They don't know what to focus on. They're doing all the wrong things. They're showing up in ways that aren't serving them. And I just feel so bad. I feel so bad when I see people struggling. I have people in my community. I have people in my membership. I have people who come and when they first start working with me, and all the things that they do have done before that have just led them down the road to nowhere. You know, like that song, The Longest Road to Nowhere. If anyone remembers that song, please let me know, because I loved that song. But anyway, I just see, as I said, so many people, they just don't know what to do. That's it. Like, it all draws back to the fact that they think they know what to do, or they think that they've been taught what to do, but they're focusing their time in the wrong places and splitting their attention. And maybe that's you, because it was me. It was me. When I was in my very first business, and even when I very first started my coaching business, I had so many days where I would sit down with the best of intentions to build my business. And I ended up pretty much doing nothing. I ended up scrolling or researching, where you just scroll other people's pages and convince yourself that you're researching. Or I ended up just being so frustrated because I was like, I actually do have the time. If I was honest with myself, I actually have the time to sit down and work on my business, but I don't know what to do. Or on the contrary, on the times where I was really busy in my first business because, I was still like studying and still doing all these other things, and I didn't have a lot of time, but the time that I did have, I just really didn't know how to do those needle moving activities that everyone's talked about. All these people talk about, make sure you do the priorities. Oh my God. Make sure you start your day with your priority checklist. You do the most important things first. And I was just like, I don't even know what the most important things are. I don't even know what to focus on. And I see so many people in that position. Maybe that's you. Maybe right now you're like, I have the time or I don't have the time. But either way, I don't know exactly what I need to do to grow my business, to get myself in front of people. And so that's particularly why I wanted to create this masterclass. I really wanted to go through two things. Like, we're going to talk about a lot. As I said, it's quite a strategy focused masterclass. But I particularly wanted to talk about two specific things. First of all, what do you actually do? For that first 12 months in business, what are the areas that you need to focus on? And then secondly, how do you take that knowledge and break it down into daily actions? So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So one thing I do want to mention to you, actually two things I do want to mention to you. First of all, please make sure you have a notepad. I know, and I realize that I start pretty much every masterclass saying this, but I cannot express how important it is. There's something that I learned about recently, which was called the effort effect. And basically what that is those who take notes, and I mean physically take notes with pen and paper and their handwriting, are 20% more likely to retain information than someone who takes notes on their laptop, and 40% more likely to retain than someone who doesn't take notes at all. Because the reason is you have to put in some kind of effort other than just sitting here listening, kind of daydreaming, getting a little bit inspired. actually putting in the effort of writing things down, writing down not only what you're hearing and you're learning, but also the ideas that you have, means that you are so much more likely to go off and implement those ideas, or at least remember them. Have you ever listened to a podcast or an audiobook or watched a video and you're like, wow, that's really profound. And then life goes on. 20 minutes later, you can't even remember what you heard. Or like myself, sometimes I listen to an entire audiobook. The whole time I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is fantastic. And a week later, I'm like, I have no idea what that audiobook was about. If that is you, please make sure you are taking notes. I cannot express that enough. And the next thing I do want to say is that today's masterclass is going to be going through all of the things that you need to do in order to build a six-figure business. There is no hidden curtain that I'm pulling back. This is not new information. I just want to let you know that there is no secret key. There is nothing that I'm going to be delivering to you today that you probably haven't heard before. The thing that will help you is the sequence, is writing actual down ideas as they come to mind, and also us going through and talking about how you can specifically break this down into what you need to do today, tomorrow, next week, and next year, right? It's all the concepts are out there. But the thing is, I see so many people thinking that there's some like missing key or like secret element. The thing is, the secret key and the missing element is you taking action. It really is. I hate to break it to you, but there's no one light bulb moment you're going to have or one secret little like piece of information that you're going to hear that's going to like, whoa, now tomorrow I'm going to go and be like a bazillionaire. It doesn't work like that. The missing key is a decision and the action that follows that. Now, I realize a lot of people do struggle with this. And in my opinion, the best way to get through this, the best way to get the discipline, to work through all the limitations that you have is with a support network. And honestly, like I want to take you back to the start of my journey. I so very much, as I said, I felt like I had the inspiration, I had the motivation, I had the ideas, I knew what I wanted to do, but I started gathering all of the information. I started like listening to the podcast, learning about funnels, and I was like, when your brain just starts to hurt, you feel like you've been electric shocked. I started to learn all of these things. And whilst I knew that I probably could try figure it out myself, put all the pieces together, I wanted feedback. I wanted accountability. I wanted support. And the reason why I think my growth accelerated so much was because I actually did that. I joined a group coaching program. So I do just want to say that I am going to show you a lot today. As I said, I don't skimp on the value, but if you feel like you want to accelerate your growth, you want to go into 2020 or into 2021 or whatever time you're listening to this, and you really want to like be so much further along. You don't want to have to stab in the dark. You don't want to have to figure it out yourself. You do want the accountability. You do want the personalized support. I do have my Simply Business Group coaching program available as well. So I'm not going to talk too much about that now. I'll talk about it at the end. But for me, the best thing that I ever did for myself was make an investment in a group coaching program, because instead of spending a year, 2 years trying to figure it out, trying to figure out all the pieces, trying to like trial and error. That's the big thing, having a coach or having a group around you that can say, hey, how about you change this? How about you change that? Those little minute details in your strategy and your messaging and your marketing and your sales really can make a big difference. If you've been trying things and they just don't seem to working, having fresh eyes, having an outside opinion could be the thing that could change everything for you. So I just want to let you know that my Simply Business Group coaching program is now open for enrollment. If you want more information, I'll talk about it at the end, but let's jump into the masterclass. I'm so excited. Please, if you are actually on live, I am doing this live for the first time, obviously, as I always do, but if you're on live, please leave me an emoji right now to describe how you currently feel about growing your business. I don't know, maybe you are doing the like stretched out emoji, the mind blown emoji, the angry face emoji, the sad face emoji. Maybe you are like the excited emoji. I want all of you who are here live to drop an emoji right now and tell me exactly like the emoji that best describes how you feel about business. Or growing your business. If I was to leave an emoji for the start of my journey, it would be like the I don't even think there is. No, there is a stressed out emoji. It would be the emoji where the eyes go in and it's like, oh, like it honestly just feels like a brain aneurysm. And I know that's not the best thing to say, but that's exactly what it feels like. Okay, so we've got here. Can I get the recording of this? I missed the first part. Of course you can. You just need to sign up. Just send me your email afterwards via DM and I will put you on the list to get the replay of this because it will be taken down off here. Okay, so we've got the mind blown and the I'm not quite sure emoji. We've got the smirking cat. So that could be either way, I guess. So we've got a celebration, but then also a vomiting emoji. I think that is exactly how so many people feel, because if you've ever seen that meme where it's like, woo, I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. Woo, I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. Woo, I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. That is just such a great description. All right, we have the stressed out waterhead emoji, the crying emoji. We have the cool emoji. We have the squeezing face, almost looks like diarrhea emoji. I don't know, that's what it looks like to me. We have smiling, but then the worried face emoji. Honestly, this is exactly what I was expecting, because that's what a lot of people do. They go through these stages of being like so excited and so filled with ideas. But then the biggest thing is that most people just don't know how to bring those ideas to life. So maybe that's you. Maybe you do feel really excited. Maybe you are hoping for some success. But when it comes time to taking action, you just don't know how to take that action, what action to take, or why the action you're taking is not working. That's a big thing. I have so many people who are really struggling because they do want to take action and they take it and they feel so excited, and then they're like, why didn't it work? What am I missing? And that's why like group coaching for me was so powerful, because you build out the pipeline, but often there is leaks in that pipeline. And that's why this flow of success is not coming. And it just takes someone to help you patch up those leaks, patch up those little things that you aren't doing right. You may have all the systems and strategies in place, but quite often the success is leaking through these patches in your pipeline, these leaks in your pipeline. And they are sometimes just the smallest little things that you need to change. But for me, it was just really about having someone else's expert opinion on my business or on the things that I was building at the time that really helped me to accelerate my growth, reach 6 figures in the first year. Obviously, I already had an audience, so that played into it as well. But since then, I've coached so many people who have reached 6 figures in their first year. And I really, truly do think it was because they had that outside help as well. So anyway, what we are going to be focusing on and covering today, please, I hope you all have your pen and paper. But what we are going to be focusing on is a very simple strategy for building your online business. So we're actually going to be focusing on the 8 areas that you need to be focusing on. There are 8, but what we're going to do is simplify them. It's almost as if you think of Legos, like Legos, building blocks, whatever you want to call them. It literally is just like putting one Lego down and putting another Lego down and another Lego down. It's like that. It's building our foundation upon one another. When you build a building, when you build a skyscraper, you don't start from the top. You don't start from the middle. You start from the foundation. You dig a hole so you make sure that building is sturdy AF, and then you start building up from there. And you may sometimes have scaffolding on the side, which is like support, i.e. a group coaching program. No, I'm joking. But, you know, it really is about starting from the bottom. And that's why I want to take you through the 8 steps, the 8 building blocks, the 8 Legos that you need to do in order to be able to build that successful business. But I don't want to just leave it there, because that's where most people do leave it. They just tell you what to do. But the thing is, I had so many people telling me what to do in the beginning, but I was still left with the question, how do I actually bring this into my life? How do I actually bring this? I know what to do in the big picture of things, but I don't know what to do today. I don't know what to do tomorrow. I don't know what to do next week and next year. And so that is why I want to actually take all of these concepts, take all of these ideas and break it down and show you exactly what I do these days, still to this day, even though I already have a multiple 6-figure business, to keep myself moving forward, to keep that needle moving forward. So let's jump in. Now, it's going to be absolutely no surprise, but the first step, and write this down, even if you've heard it before, write it down. The first thing that you need to do is to work on your mindset. And again, before you jump off frustrated because you're like, I already know this. If you are not achieving the results that you want in your business right now, then you don't know. Don't say that, I know this. Theoretically knowing something does not mean you actually know it. implementing it, integrating it into your daily life, not your life, not your, I know this, I'm going to chuck it in like a, the library of my mind and just keep it back there and dust it off if one day I need it. I know I need to work on my mindset. It's not about that. It's about becoming somebody who integrates daily mindset work into their experience. Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology and 20% of the strategy. If you are not succeeding at the level that you desire to be succeeding right now, a big part of that is probably going to be your mindset. And what I want to do is I want to talk about how this plays out for so many people. So many people I see, they're putting the content out on social media, they're doing the sales posts, they may even have a funnel set up, and we'll get to all this if some of that's like, ugh, I didn't even know that stuff yet. But, they're really showing up for their business. And then they're frustrated because they're not converting. That all the effort that they're putting into their social media, all of the effort that they're putting into their posts, scheduling every Sunday, sitting down, scheduling all these posts. A big part of why no one is actually buying from you is because they simply don't feel your energy, your conviction, your confidence. They are not seeing you as a leader. They're not seeing you as someone they want to trust and to give their money to and to, buy from and join programs from, or whatever it is that you sell. Sorry, I'm already getting hot. It's a real thing, when it's like when you do public talks, it's so funny because they always have like the air conditioner blasting, and that's actually because speakers get really, really, really hot. And then usually the people in the crowd are like, I'm dying, I'm freezing. So if you ever go to a talk, wear a jacket is all I have to say. But anyway, I just think it's so crucially important that you have a practice in each and every single day. And again, we'll talk about how to bring this into your day, but there is some type of practice for managing your mindset. Particularly, look, I'm getting into the practical stuff here, and we go so much more into this, into Simply Business, about actually becoming a leader, like the mindset of a CEO, like really breaking down what you need to do to get people to see you as a CEO. But two things I want to share with you today is that it is 100% about managing your energy and the way that you show up for people, but also working through self-sabotage. You know how sneaky self-sabotage is? It can show up in the most sneakiest of ways. And here's a perfect example. I've seen so many people, my clients, other people's clients, people who I just know from the community, they have really great attraction strategies. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they have really great attraction strategies. They're getting people on calls, like say they're a coach. They're getting people on consultation calls. But people are just not signing up. And here's the thing, they have, probably like a 5% conversion rate, when really, if you're getting people on consultation calls, it should be like a pretty much 80 to 90% conversion rate. I've seen that. I've taught my clients how to do that, right? Because once you've already got someone on that call, they're interested, right? And if you know how to overcome their objections, you should be 80 to 90% converting those people. And I see so many people with such low conversion rates, and it usually isn't because they don't know how to convert. It's not usually because they don't know how to sell. They know how to sell. It's just that when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, they sabotage. They lose the confidence in their voice. They say something that sabotages the conversation, that makes the client lose confidence in them. And that's because they're not managing their mindset. If that is you, if you are either struggling on consultation calls, or if you are struggling to even get people onto consultation calls, it purely is because you've not developed the mindset of a leader. So the first thing that you need to do is work out, how can I show up with the energy of a leader? Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to put in place. For me, it's learning a crap ton of stuff. I love to learn. The more I learn, the more I feel like I know. The more I feel like I know, the more that I actually know. But the more that I actually know, the more confident I feel. Sometimes I have ideas of how things should be and how things should work. And it's great because then I will go listen to interviews, listen to podcasts, read books, and other times leaders who are already way ahead of me will have the same idea before I've even learned it from someone else. And that validates to me that I actually know what I'm talking about. I actually know what I'm doing. And so for me, that helps me to have so much more confidence. I mean, when I'm showing up here and telling you that Simply Business is the best program for early stage entrepreneurs because it's so heavily focused on simplifying the entire program, when so many other things just want to chuck content at you, content, and overwhelm you. This is like, no, let me actually support you so you can stop feeling stressed out as all hell. But I'm saying that with full confidence because I know the stuff that's in there and the way that I coach, the 3-hour coaching calls that we have are so incredibly valuable. And I hope that you can hear that because I'm so confident in my ability to get my clients results, right? And that comes not just from the fact that I have got results, but from the fact that I manage my mindset, I manage my energy, I manage the way that I show up. So the first thing that you need to do, write this down, 2 things. Learn how to manage your energy, develop the energy, generate the energy of a convicted leader. How can you show up? Not just giving the facts, not just the edutainment. That's a real thing, by the way, edutainment. It's my new thing. Well, no, that's not, I totally lie. It's not my new thing. I learned it on a YouTube video, but it's a new thing that I want to teach a lot more about because it's totally where it's at these days. But not just like, the facts, the quotes and stuff, but how do you actually show up totally convicted in your message and your abilities, developing that mindset. And then working through any self-sabotage. How do you remove stuck energy that's stopping you from going live, that's stopping you from going to the event? How do you remove any negative limiting beliefs that are stopping you from really being able to convert people, from connecting with people, from putting yourself out there? How do you work through the fear of rejection so that you can go out there and pitch yourself for other people's podcasts, or to get people on your podcast or your YouTube channel, or to interview people, or to get yourself interviewed? You have to have this relentless energy about you, this convicted, relentless energy about you. And if you don't, that's the number one thing you need to be focusing on. So please hear me when I say the most important thing that you do, the foundation, the hole that your skyscraper is going to be cemented into, is your mindset work. So that is number 1 on your blueprint to a six-figure business, 7-figure business, 8-figure business, 9-figure business. It all comes down to your mindset. I promise you that. The second thing is that you have to have a business model. Look, I know that a lot of people, they jump into like being a coach, being a consultant, and it's like, I just want to do social media. I just want to grow my following. That's fine if you want to be an influencer, if you want to have a hobby, if you just want to be popular. But if you are a serious entrepreneur who wants to make money and wants to have a sustainable business, not just make some cash on the side, sign a couple of clients and then be forgotten by everyone in a month, because I've seen that happen as well. I've seen people who've just really gone hard with like the social media and stuff, but without a solidified business model. They just chuck stuff out into the internet and hope for the best, but without a pipeline, without an actual strategy behind their business. They burn out, for one, because they're constantly like chasing, trying to put stuff out there. Literally, I see it as, chimps, like monkeys, right? In a lot of cartoons, you often see monkeys and they just like they're just throwing stuff, right? They're throwing like banana peels. They're just being really naughty, right? That's how sometimes I see people online. They start their business and it's like literally chucking shit against the wall, trying to see what sticks. And it's so stressful. If you're feeling like that now, if you're feeling like, I just feel like I'm constantly putting stuff out there and nothing's really working, it's because you don't have a business model. You don't have a pipeline. You don't have a strategy. You don't have an idea of client acquisition. You don't have a solidified way to actually attract people to your business, build a relationship with them, and convert them into clients. This is one of the business models, and I'll share it with you today because I've taught it a lot of times online, but one of the business models that I specifically created for Simply Business, and I go into in a lot of detail, is the ABC business model. And then we build out your particular personal business model from this concept. You have to have a solidified, proven method for attracting clients, right? Attraction. You need to have a way to build trust and build a relationship with them. How can you get them to see you like a leader? The first thing that you're doing is working on your mindset, but then you actually have to go out and implement that, right? If you have like built up that, yeah, all right, I'm a leader, I'm convicted, people should listen to me, you've actually got to go out there and project that to the world. It's okay, you can do it in your mirror all you want, be like, I'm a leader, but you've actually got to go out there and project that in the world in order for it to be successful in a business sense, right? And then the next thing you have to do is you've got to have a way to sell to people. You've got to have products to sell to people, which we'll talk about in just a second. But you have to have an actual sales system in place. You can't, like, this is the thing. I see so many people, and it's beautiful because it's this gorgeous sense of naivety that I had. I promise you I had this. Most people do when they just start. But feeling like, oh, I've spent like 6 months building my website. I've got this great social media traction. You know, I've got this amazing thing. And I put this beautiful, like well-structured sales page up on my website. All right, let me just kick back, keep creating content, and everyone's just going to go to my website and just buy my stuff. It like literally doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at multiple 6 figures. It doesn't work like that at multiple 7 figures. You have to have a way to sell to your audience. You have to have a system to sell to your audience, and a replicatable system. You have to know what works and what doesn't, because here's the thing. It's all about not putting yourself in a position where you're constantly guessing. Can I get clients? Can I, get customers for my course or my digital products? You have to create, you have to become, again, and this is why becoming a CEO is so important, and actually developing the mindset of a CEO and not just a hobbyist or someone who's hoping for the best. But you have to have a replicatable way to actually sell to your clients, because when you do, when you know what works, you just replicate it and do it over and over again and scale it. Like, it's not that difficult. And I know I'm sort of overcomplicating the way, but I do overcomplicate things when I'm talking about them, because people, no, I do undercomplicate things because people are always overcomplicating it. Like this stuff, this ABC business model, it actually isn't that difficult. So you really want to make sure you have a strong business model, all right? And again, it's 3 elements. It's 3 elements. It's not a freaking 75-page business plan. It is 3 elements. How do I acquire? How do I attract customers into my sphere of the internet? How do I take that person or a percentage of those people and further develop the relationship with them, build trust with them? And then how do I actually go about selling them stuff? What do I need to do? And we'll talk about those 3 elements in just a sec. Because then the third step, we're moving quite quickly through this stuff because I respect your time and don't want to take up too much of it. I just want to give you what you need to do so you can go out there and do it. Right? The third thing is that you have to have something to sell. I know this one seems like obvious. It really does seem almost hilarious, but you have no idea how many people have a subpar product, a product that they haven't researched, that they haven't validated, that they haven't tested, and they've just guessed that people may possibly want. That is not how business works. I cannot go out and just be like, okay, I live in Brunswick, that's a pretty cool area in Melbourne. People really, really love their dogs in Brunswick here, particularly greyhounds, just a thing. All right, so I'm just going to kind of guess that maybe people are going to want to have a place where they can bring their dogs so their dogs can all come and get their hair dyed together. Because actually, here in Brunswick, heaps of people have like colored hair because it's really alternative. So maybe if I just create a place that people can all come and get their dogs dyed, pink, purple, shaved, maybe a little piercing. If I just decided that just because I thought it was going to be a good idea because, maybe some of the environment leads close to that. And I didn't actually go out there and validate and research and, get people who are in business to validate this idea and to give me ideas and to go out there and actually speak to the community. Would you actually purchase this? Like, yeah, I might think it's the best goddamn idea in the world because maybe I want to dye my dog's hair and put a piercing in its ear. I would never do that. That's so freaking cool. But obviously we're just like playing a game here. But, maybe that's something that I thought was cool, but do people actually need it? I don't know. Probably not, because obviously it's a crazy example, but you never know. You have to do the work to actually validate your offer, to research your offer. Just because somebody else is selling it doesn't mean that necessarily it's going to work for you either. You have to start thinking about, is this going to work for my life? Like, there's a very strategic process that you need to go through in order to create an offer in your business. And when I talk about offer, yes, I'm talking about a product like a coaching program, a group coaching program, a course, a digital download. But more so why I call it an offer and not a product is because where so many people go wrong is they do focus on just creating a product. I'm just going to create a coaching program, because that's what everyone else is doing. An offer, and why it differs to a product, is because an offer is something that more heavily focused on your actual target audience, what they need, what can I offer them, how can I solve their problem? Because that's the first thing. That's the first thing you should be doing. That's where you should be starting. When it comes to creating an offer, you should be starting with what's the problem I want to solve and what's the best way I can solve it. How can I research what people actually need? How can I validate my idea? How can I actually go out there and get more information about how I can make this the best damn thing possible? And then go out there and figure out a way to sell it. And a lot of the research that you do when you're researching your offer helps with your sales strategy as well, which we'll talk about in a second. But here's the thing. Really, I want to say this in the nicest way possible. What most people have online is a hobby. Like, really, that's just the way that it is. Without the business model, without really actually putting the effort into creating a proper product, what most people have is a hobby. And, you know, people don't really put that much effort sometimes into their hobbies. I mean, some people do, but just to generalize here, you know, there isn't as much intention, as much investment in people's hobbies. You know, if I had the hobby of, like, I don't know, painting, I don't. Versus me seriously wanting to become a professional painter. Like, I just wanted to be, if I wanted to be an artist, if I really wanted to become like global, I wanted people to buy my paintings for like millions of dollars, or versus like, I just want to watercolor paint on the weekends, like watching that guy with the curly hair. I can't remember his name, but I know there's tutorials. Obviously, I'm going to approach it in a very different way. If I seriously wanted to become a painter, I would want to learn from the best. I would dedicate a lot of time. I would read every single book I possibly could. I would build a website. I would really go to all the events I possibly could. I would network. I would get into the art community. I would be relentless about my actions, right? Because I really want that to be my thing. But versus, oh, I just want to do a little bit of painting on the weekends. Like, I'm not going to invest in myself. I'm not going to invest time. I'm not going to invest money. Maybe buy some paints, probably just like from the $2 shop. And I'm just going to dedicate a little bit of time, but maybe I don't feel like it today. Maybe I'll just watch Netflix instead. You can see how so many people, they're really showing up with their business like it's a hobby. I'll just get to it when I can. Or I won't invest in it. I won't invest in myself. I don't really take this seriously. And maybe there's a part of you who actually really does want to be a successful business owner, to make a lot of money online, to really build something of impact that changes people's lives. But you're approaching it like a hobbyist. And so you can see why mindset and making that switch to the CEO is so important. But a big way that this shows up, the big differentiation, the split off factor, is with people's offers. When you just throw something together, just throw something on your website, what a lot of people do is, they go read someone else's sales page and they just like write it in their own way. Yeah, this will do, that'll do. They don't actually do the research. Like, that's a big reason why it's splitting off. So the third thing that you need to do is actually create a real offer, a real product. Put time, put effort, put energy into this, right? It doesn't need to be difficult. It's not a difficult process. I have ways to make this process simple, but it's all about the energy and the intention behind it. Chucking stuff against the wall and seeing if it sticks, it doesn't work. Not with your social media, not with your offers, not with your business, not with anything. You've got to be serious about this. Streamline, simple, but serious, right? And then the next thing you need to focus on, so we're on number 4, we are halfway there. The fourth thing that you need to focus on is building a brand. Not just, going out there and, again, hoping for the best. Branding is a strategic process. Personal branding and branding in and of itself. You have to go out there and be really intentional. But the thing is, most people spend so much time focusing on things that don't matter. Oh my gosh, I cannot explain to you. It makes my skin crawl. And I had an experience this weekend and I just basically am furious with myself. I see so many people spending so much time on what they should call their business, what their logo should look like, what their color should be, what their color on their website button should be, what their font should be. Like, I am not even joking. I put my heart out to this person, but I had someone inbox me this weekend saying that they have spent 3 years trying to choose the perfect business name. I have spent 3 years changing my business name. You know how many business names I've had in the past 3 years? 2, 3, 4, 5. Since I started my brand, I've had 6 different business names, literally 6. I've had Erme Fitness. Then I went to Erme Henry. Then I started the May Collective. Then I went back to Erme Henry. Then I started the Game Changer Collective. And now I am the Game Changer Company. Do many people notice? Some. Does it matter? Not really. When it comes to branding, the most important thing you need to be focusing on is reputation and experience. The experience that you create for your tribe, and a big part of this comes from your own energy, and that's why you can see that mindset is so important. And also, you'll be able to create experience when you know what people actually want, and that comes through researching your offer. But the thing is, what is the experience that you're creating for people? Is your experience a more vulnerable one? It's going to depend on your niche as well, right? And that comes into obviously deciding on your business model, something we also cover heavily. If you're like just starting out in business, like the whole niche target market stuff, like we go over that in Simply Business. But if you are like someone who like there is good information out there about choosing a niche. That's probably the one thing that I can say there's actual good information out there. Particularly, I would look into the Ikigai from the Japanese culture. That's a really great way to start thinking about like, what's my purpose? But also HubSpot is another really great, you can write these down. HubSpot is another really great resource for target market profiling. So if you're like struggling on the niche and target market thing, there are 2 resources I would recommend. Or of course, Simply Business, because we go through it all. But to get back to the branding stuff, like it really is about creating a consistent, recognizable experience for your audience. Like if you were someone who was helping people with anxiety, creating an open, safe, vulnerable space, a vulnerable experience is a big part of what's going to attract and keep people in your community, build that relationship of trust with them, which ultimately will help you sell to them. You know, if you are trying to be a business coach and you really want to like pump people up, get people motivated, be a little bit like tongue in cheek, like funny, but then also really kind of serious and caring. Am I trying to describe myself? But like really, like you've got to know what the experience is. If one day you're showing up and you're like swearing like a sailor and you're like all like hardcore, get like the fuck to work, get all the stuff done. And then the next day you're like, let's focus on like the country club, luxury, aesthetic, and it just feels different. You're going to confuse your audience. You're going to confuse yourself for one, but it's about creating a consistent experience and managing the reputation. How do people see you? How do people perceive your brand? What do they tell their friends about you? They're like, hey, I just joined this great Facebook group or started following this great business on social media. They are blah, 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 blah. You've got to manage that. That's what branding's about. It's about managing reputation. So that has to be super intentional. Now that's on the branding of the business side of things, but also how the personal brand comes into this. And again, something I teach very in-depth in Simply Business is simply a process that I call walking the talk. This is a big part of another reason why so many people are failing when it comes to business is because they're putting a crap ton of content out there. Hey, like, let me teach you about meditation. Let me teach you about manifestation. Let me teach you about business. But they have no visible execution of their own. You know how important it is for trust. Like, everyone's skeptical. Like, we all have a level of skepticism within us these days because there is a lot of fraud online. There is a lot of crap out there online. There are a lot of people who say I'm making, 6 figures and they're really not making anything. There's a lot of like teenagers who all of a sudden have Ferraris and they say it's because of their business, but it's probably because of their parents or it's rented. There is a lot of that unfortunate stuff. There is a company that actually rents out jet planes, not to fly, so that people can take photos on them as if they were in the sky. That's a company. Someone invented that. What the hell? But anyway, we can avoid that by really allowing people into our lives, being vulnerable, being transparent, showing them what we're doing, showing them, you don't have to show like how much money you're making necessarily or your kids, like it's all still up to you, but showing them that you're actually walking the talk, you're doing what you're telling them to do or that you could say that you can help them to do, either yourself or with other people, is so important. And again, like this is a simple strategy. There are simple ways that you can do this, but it's something that not a lot of people think of. Everyone's just putting out there the facts. Everyone's putting out the facts. The facts are the same. The facts are boring, right? They really are at the end of the day. What influences the facts and why people are going to connect with you and resonate with you is your brand, is your story, is how you show that you're doing that thing. Right? That is such an important part about you succeeding in the business space. And that is a big part. So branding, you have to be managing your reputation. You have to be showing people that you actually are doing what you say you can do. The next thing, so number 5, guys, we are on number 5. You have to have a marketing plan, right? Just like it's important for you to have a business plan, you have to have a marketing plan that you can actually measure and re-implement. Here's the thing, again, so many people are just guessing. I cannot explain to you how many people, they don't know what it actually takes to acquire a customer. What I mean by that is they just don't know what it takes to get clients, to get customers. Like, here's the thing. There are things that you can do. Look, this isn't an instant process either, by the way. You're not just going to put together a marketing plan in Asana, even though that's totally fun and I love doing that stuff. But it's not as if you're just going to like put together a marketing plan and all of a sudden, poof, like you've got like a billion clients walking through your door. This takes time. Like you do need to measure things. It takes consistency. There's, again, those little patches that you may need help patching up because your pipeline isn't flowing correctly. But having an actual marketing plan, like I know that I need to do this in order to get a customer to do this, in order to get them to do this, in order to get them to buy my product. You need to have something in place that you can measure the effectiveness of and reevaluate and change the strategy of to actually acquire those customers. This doesn't need to be a guessing game, guys. This isn't business if you are constantly guessing. Like if all you're doing is going out there and guessing, I hope I'm going to get customers this month. I hope I'm going to be able to actually bring in money this month. If you're constantly guessing and wishing and hoping, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Like I hope one day I'm actually going to be able to play the guitar. Am I a professional guitar player? No. You know what I mean? It really does need to be a little more strategic than that. So both having a business model, like I actually know what products I sell. I have an ascension model in place. I know how to get someone from this product to this product, or I know how to get someone from a, like someone in my community into this paying client, and I know the conversion rate of people from here to here. Like all of that stuff is actually really, really important. So you want to make sure that you are creating a simple but measurable marketing plan. And I know a big part of this is it is a funnel, right? A funnel. And I know that the word funnel scares a lot of people. It seems really intimidating. And trust me, I was the same. When I first started learning about funnels, even though, and like, I love tech, like I was the person who was like spending my time when I really should have been like reading in class, like HTMLing it up and like creating websites like for my friends, just like profile websites. I love tech. And so usually it's the tech side that confuses a lot of people when it comes to funnels. But actually for me, it was just all of the different elements that went into that. And it was just like the writing and the like showing up in this way. And it all felt very forced for me. But when I realized actually this is very simple and I can create a funnel now in like 10 minutes because I've created them so many times. I just duplicate, change a couple of words. I'm sure if you have signed up for this masterclass and you've signed up for my later masterclass, you'll know that the sign up page looked exactly the same because literally I duplicated it and just changed the text because I don't like to complicate things. I like things to be simple in business. I don't like to spend 10 years recreating the wheel every single time I need to do something new. I like to have systems and processes in place that I can go doop, doop, and like drop into whatever it is that I'm newly creating because I like to save time. I like to do things the easy way. And so if you're like me, there is a way that you can do that, but it is just about having those systems and processes and strategies in place. Like, what does my funnel actually look like? What is working? What isn't working? How can I evaluate this? Why aren't people signing up? What can I do differently? These are all questions that you should be asking yourself. And if you don't even have any type of funnel, any type of marketing plan in place, that's something you want to be doing pretty quickly in your business. And again, it doesn't need to be difficult. I have this program where actually you can just like map out funnels. And I saw this one funnel, I can't remember who it was. Tony Robbins's, by the way, has like 73 different elements. But I saw this one funnel and I was like, that is just so overly complicated. And then right next to it was this other funnel. And they say how much the funnels are like worth, like how much the funnel essentially brings in. They were both $1 million funnels. Like both of these two funnels were $1 million funnels. One was literally like Facebook ad to like sign up to free piece of content. I don't even know if you had to sign up for it. It was like Facebook ad to free piece of content to sign up to membership to upsell. That was like it. That was it. And this was $1 million funnel. It was for a fitness program. I can't remember what it was called. And then the one next to it was like, go here, go here, go here, go here, do all of this stuff. See, it's possible that you can do things simply. Like there's no difference. Like one has 75 things, one has 5 things, both $1 million funnels. So many people are overcomplicating it. Why? I don't know. Maybe they want to feel like they have put more effort into it or something, or maybe they just feel like that's what's required. But for me, I like things to be simple, and you totally can make things simple for yourself in business. But number 5 is make sure you've got an actual marketing plan. What is a marketing plan? It's simply a way to attract customers and convert them, right? It's pretty much the same as a business plan, but the business plan is looking bird's eye view. Marketing plan is the details, right? And so then number 6, this is my favorite thing that you need to do in your business, right? My absolute favorite thing. Focus on your customers. 2 things here, social media and sales. You have to find a way to actually build a tribe. This is something that I find myself to be quite good at. It's something that I've really prided. Oh my gosh, embarrassed. But this is something I'm really proud of, okay? Holy crap. Why am I so silly this morning? But this is something that I'm really proud of because a lot of people feel like they can trust me. I have lots of DMs. I have really great communities. I have people who connect with one another. People meet up with one another. I recently saw a post from my membership of a few of the girls from Sydney all meeting up together. Like, I really pride myself on being able for people to connect with me and for them to see me as a leader and for me to guide them in a very close relationship kind of way. I did a post recently about screw all the people who feel like you can't be friends with your clients. Oh my God, I'm just recently met up with two of my clients. One of them's from Australia and one of them's from LA. We all met up in LA and went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame together because you know why? And I bought them Hollywood jumpers as well. It was really cute, but then I threw mine out because I couldn't fit in my suitcase. But anyway, I totally think it's okay because you still can be a leader from being with your clients. You don't have to be on a pedestal. You don't have to be this I'm up in the clouds and you guys are down there and I'm better than you. There doesn't need to be that sense of relationship. I pride myself in the closeness that I have with my community and my ability to maintain that even as I grow. And that's just because I think it's totally possible to have a close relationship with your community, with your clients. But also I feel like that's why I'm so good at sales. A lot of the time people will come to me. Recently, I had a program that I launched and someone said to me, I feel like I've signed up to this program, but I'm not even sure that you sold to me. And I was like, you probably feel like I didn't, but I would have. There's no way you'd be here. There's no way you would have just paid me $4,000 if I didn't sell to you. And the reason was just purely because, oh my gosh, I just had a candle where it's gone out completely. How exciting. Finishing a candle right to the bottom. That was totally random. But I really did have a close relationship, and I have such a close relationship with so many people that I don't have to sell like a vulture. I don't have to fly in and force people to sign up for my programs or do all of this hectic stuff. And it is because of the relationship that I've built. And that's why I say focus on your customers, focus on building relationships, building trust. If we go back to that ABC business model, A, attraction, your marketing plan, right? B is actually building trust, building relationships. There's a very specific way that you can do this. It truly is just about being vulnerable and valuable, the two V's, right? Showing up, being vulnerable and being valuable. It's because I've done both of those that I've been able to build this relationship. So when it comes time to actually selling things, and if you're not good at selling, this is the best way to go about it. Branding trumps selling. If you can get people to almost be a yes before you even have to jump on and tell them about it or send out the email, if you can get people to trust you so much that no matter what it is that you're doing, they'll buy anyway, not because they don't need it, but because they do need it. They wouldn't be in your community otherwise. But just because they trust you, they love you, and you love them. That's what it's all about for me. That's why I have the tribe that I have. It's why I have the success that I have. Not because I have all of these scripts. I do have outlines in Simply Business and stuff like that for sales calls and stuff like that, but I don't have these hectic scripts or these hectic templates and stuff, because it truly is just about building a relationship. Make it a yes before you even have to ask. That's my concept. That's what I like to teach. That's how you simplify things. That's how you take the stress out of sales, is by building your relationship with your customers through social media, through any other form, email marketing, in-person events, whatever it may be, but building a solid relationship. So that's really, really important. And this is one of the things we're going to get to, creating the actual breakdown plan of what do I actually do? How do I take this and do this stuff tomorrow? So if you're still a bit oh, I'm not quite sure, trust me, I will go over everything and then we'll break it down. But I just want to give you the bird's eye view stuff, right? What do you actually need to focus on and do? The next thing is, and this is probably the least sexiest, the least fun, but still equally as important, is the admin stuff, right? So something that I teach in Simply Business, and the reason why I actually chucked this in, this was going to be a different module, but I changed it up. I had a pretty plain administration module in there because it is important. Finances are important, legal stuff is important, terms and conditions, they are important. But at the time where I was teaching Simply Business, the first time I ran it, Facebook and Instagram went down for 2 days, I think it was, or it was a full day or half a day, maybe. I don't know. It felt like forever. And people were freaking out. So responsively to that, I actually created a masterclass, and we focused heavily on and resources about in Simply Business about protecting your business. Like, guys, you cannot rely solely on one platform. What would I do if YouTube shut down tomorrow? Well, I have a podcast because I have diversified my reach. This is something that's so important, but a lot of people get confused about in the beginning, how do I focus my attention, but also diversify? Well, simply just have 2 platforms. It's very simple, but also email marketing is so important. You need to, and this is a big part of your marketing plan as well. Growing your email list is the safest thing that you can do for your business. If Facebook and Instagram shut down tomorrow, if, God forbid, all of the platforms shut down tomorrow, would you have a way to communicate with at least your true fans, at least your 1,000 true fans, like the people who are most likely going to buy from you? You know, they say that at any one stage, 1 to 3% of your audience is ready to buy. Do you have a way to communicate with them if all of the social media platforms shut down? Because if you don't, then you don't have a very good contingency plan in your business. What do you do if people do want refunds? Like, all of that stuff is something that you do have to focus on. Why I've left it so late in the building blocks is because too many people get caught up on these details. Again, I saw someone who was procrastinating on launching their business because their terms and conditions weren't perfect. Like, have something put together. Your terms and conditions are important, but if they're not perfect, you can fix them. You can change them, right? Don't not launch your entire business because you haven't got the perfect privacy policy or you haven't got the perfect contingency plan if Instagram shuts down. This stuff is important, but getting out there is so much more important first, right? This is all the stuff that you build around your, it's like the shell that you build around your business, right? To protect it. And we have an entire module in Simply Business on that. But the next thing, and this again is probably one of my most favorites. So number 8. My brain's not really working. 8. Number 8, right? 8. The 8th thing, the final building block is visioning. And this is really weird. A lot of people are like, why isn't this first? But here's the thing, like, there's a lot you need to do. When you're first building a business, and we'll go over it again, like, you've got to work on your mindset. You've got to actually develop a business model. You've got to know how your business works. You've got to know, like, all the moving cogs and parts of your business. But here's the thing, what is going to keep you showing up? What is going to keep you cool when you literally want to pick up your laptop as hard as you possibly can and throw it at the wall because the tech's not working? What happens when the customer rejects you, or you pitch yourself and you get rejected? Like, all of that stuff is going to rely on your vision. If you've got a vision for where you are going, if you know the timeline for where you are now and where you want to be, the dream of this is what is going to keep you going. It's the life that you want to build, the business you want to have, the impact you want to have, the money you want to make. When you can continuously look forward and realize that all these things, I need to consistently show up. Because here's the thing, my theory is business doesn't need to be difficult, right? It's simply business, right? There's only a few things that you actually need to focus on. Some of this stuff that I've taught you today is even stuff that you are going to be doing once or twice in maybe a year. You know, building a funnel is not something you do over and over and over again. Monitoring it and changing the little details, yes, but building a funnel, everyone's like, I gotta build like funnels after funnel. Like, some people have the same funnel for the first like 2 years of their business and it works for them fine. Like, some of this stuff is only like the introductory stuff that you need to do in your business. But here's the thing, it's like, whatever you need to do, the building the tribe, the attracting clients to your business, and the selling to people, that's just stuff that you do over and over and over again, that you master, that you get better at, right? It's just a repetitive series of 3 very simple steps. That's what business is. So in the effort of not overcomplicating things, like, that stuff is just repetition. It's like, again, if I wanted to actually really set my mind to learning the guitar, I suck right now. I can't get my fingers right. It's all like muscle memory, and it is hard. It is difficult. But if I want to get good, all I got to do is just keep doing it over and over and over and over again, over and over again. It's like the concept of 10,000 hours, right? If you've ever read the book by Robert Greene, Mastery, like, it's just about doing things over and over and over again until they get you to where you want to go. It's not about trying something and it not working and then so you try something else. That's why so many people are failing. That's why so many people aren't succeeding in business, because you give about 3 seconds of your attention, and when it doesn't work for you perfectly, it's like, I'm going to try something else. Why not just put a plan in place in your business and master it, get better at it? Fill those gaps, that pipeline of your business, figure out where the leaks are and patch them up. Get someone to help you to figure out where those leaks are and patch them up. Too many people are giving up on their strategies before they've even had time to fix it, right? And if that's the behavior that you're developing. If you're developing the behavior that you're going to try something, like maybe try a particular style of Instagram post or try YouTube, and like 2 months into it, it's like, oh, I put out 3 videos and now I don't have 1 billion subscribers. Well, okay, that's fine. But if that's the behavior that you're developing, to give up, to not just simplify the entire process for yourself and just do it over and over again until it works, that's what business is. That's what building anything is. Building a business, building a skyscraper isn't being like, oh my God, let's just use a bit of brick here. Oh no, actually, I really don't like that brick. It doesn't look good. Let's just use a bit of like fiberglass here. Oh no, let's not make this whole side glass. No, it's about literally brick after brick, same brick after brick after brick. If you've ever heard the quote by Will Smith, you don't build a wall. You know, I think it was Will Smith's dad said it to him, but obviously I heard it from Will Smith. You know, how do you set out to build a wall? You don't set out to just build a wall. You set out to lay 1 brick after another brick after another brick after another brick. That's what business is. It may sound a little tedious and slow, but if you change your perception, it's actually super fun and enjoyable and fulfilling. But it really is about taking a few simple materials, a few simple ingredients, and just constantly taking it 1 day at a time, 1 step at a time. But the thing that's going to keep you motivated towards doing that, the thing that when maybe one of the bricks is cracked or the cement dries because it's like 40 degrees outside, when that stuff happens, the thing that's going to keep you moving forward is your vision. And so the 8th thing that you need to do is constantly be working on your vision, constantly be reverse engineering your vision. If your vision is to be a famous author, to be a TEDx speaker, if your vision is to have a multi-million-dollar business, if your vision is to be a digital nomad, if your vision is to be able to just have freedom to, you know, make millions of dollars while working 2 days a week, that's fine. All this stuff is completely possible for you, but you've got to know exactly where you're going. You know, it's really hard to get in a car, follow a GPS with no destination. You've got to know where you're going in order to be able to actually move there, in order to actually know what the path you need to take is. And so the 8th thing you need to do is recheck in with that vision as often as you possibly can. So let's just reiterate the steps, the 8 simple things that you need to focus on to have a successful online business, a multi-6-figure business, a multi-7-figure business. Maybe you're not at that stage yet. Maybe you just want to reach your first $1,000, $10,000 in business a month, right? What do you actually need to do? Mindset work. Not once, not twice, daily mindset work. You do not get a fit body by going to the gym once. You do not get a fit mind by going and doing mindset work once. It is a daily thing. I still have to work on my money mindset. I still have to work on my blocks. I still have to manifest. I still have to meditate. I still have to do things to remind myself that I'm a badass boss, right? Every single day, I look in the mirror. You're a badass boss. I don't really do that sometimes. Don't tell anyone. But those things are so important. It's a repetition. Repetition is the key to all of this. If you hadn't got that yet, write it down right now. Repetition is the key, or consistency as we love to call it here online these days, right? But repetition is the mother of all skill. The second thing, and again, this isn't something that you need to do over and over and over again. This is one of those things that you need to just focus on in the beginning. Start by taking your business seriously. Create a business model. How do I acquire customers? How do I build relationships with them? How can I sell to them? And selling, your marketing plan is obviously the attracting and converting part, and then the building relationship is your brand, right? If you didn't guess that, those are the links between all of those things. But if you think of your business plan is like the skeleton, and then the branding plan, or your actual branding and what you do and how you show up, and then your marketing plan is the details of those areas, right? 3 simple areas: attraction, build, convert. So start and make sure you've got a serious business model. If right now you don't have some type of document in your business which has those 3 elements written out, at least in a freaking square or a table, I mean, mine's pretty hectic, and I'm showing everyone in Simply Business. Mine is like a full-blown like diagram. Not a full-blown diagram. It's a simple diagram, but it's a diagram, and I'm really proud of it, okay? But if you have it simply written out in a square, how do I attract clients? How do I build relationships with them? How do I actually convert them? What are the things that I need to do? Maybe it's YouTube on the attraction side of things. Maybe it's podcasting. Maybe it's blogging. Maybe it's Facebook Live. I don't know. Some way you've got to attract clients, right? The next thing, how do I build relationships with them? Well, maybe it's that I'm going to go live once a week on my Instagram and actually do a Q&A. The details. The simplicity is in the details. How am I going to convert people? Well, you know, I'm either going to do like a launch once every couple of months for my product, or I'm going to launch my membership. You know, how are you actually going to sell your product? Is it through a launch system? Is it through an evergreen model? Is it through a funnel? How are you actually going to sell to people? Figure that stuff out first. right? Then you want to make sure that you've got a product people actually want to buy. You want to make sure you've got a brand that people actually want to talk about, that people actually want to spend time with. Then you want to make sure that you have that marketing plan. How can I, again, attract, like, what are the details? What are the measurable details of being able to attract people and convert to them? If you've got a YouTube channel, you've got an analytics library for you that tells you, is my marketing plan working? No, people are not watching my videos. What can I do to change it? Thumbnails, titles. There's always something that you can do if things aren't working. The thing that you shouldn't do, like I said, however, is give up, right? And then the next thing is making sure that you are really, really focusing on your customers, building those relationships, getting them to trust you, getting them, like, building the relationship is the best way to sell to someone, right? I would much rather buy lemonade from my friend than a stranger. It's just as simple as that, okay? And then the next thing, make sure you have your finances, your business admin, all that stuff. Look, I'm not going to go too much into detail of, like, the administration side of things. Obviously, we spoke about the protecting your business. Make sure you've diversified your platforms, you diversify the way that you can speak to your audience. But the admin side of things is probably different in every country. Like, what do your terms and conditions need to look like? What do your finances need to look like? How are you going to actually set up and register your business? Just go onto your state/country's website. It will give you a list of what you need to do there. And then make sure you always have a solid vision. Make sure every single day you're connecting with your vision. Where do I want to go? It's as simple as that. I recently did an organizational structure in my business, and that was actually breaking down the particular roles for the current team that I've got and also the team that I'd like to hire over the next 12 months. You know what my role was? Visionary. You know what my job was? Literally just to visualize the future. The marketing, the planning, all of that stuff. That's the goal of a CEO, is to get to the point where you don't do any of that. You don't do any of the funnel stuff. You don't do any of the advertising, Facebook advertising, content. I mean, as a personal brand, you may still manage your own content, but as a company, the repurposing of that content, like, you wouldn't do any of that stuff. A real CEO, a real entrepreneur is someone who drives ideas. That's it. And probably implementing those ideas is someone even below you, but it's just the person who generates ideas. Elon Musk is not, thinking about sales funnels for Tesla or influencer marketing, more likely, because that's what they do. They give free cars to everyone, right? Anyway, okay, so those are the big things that we want to do. How do we actually break this stuff down into daily routines and rituals? It comes back down to non-negotiables. Look, there are really two ways that you can structure your week. We're going to look at it from a week perspective, because your days are dictated by your week. Your weeks are dictated by your months, and your months are dictated by your quarters. Quarters are dictated by your year. That's how we break it down, right? Where do you want to be in 12 months from now? Okay, so what do we need to focus on each quarter, therefore each month, therefore each week, therefore each day? It's a very simple way to plan things. But I believe, depending on your own schedule, own preference, and own time, there's really two ways that you can split up the quarterly/monthly projects. And that is either by breaking your week down into daily focuses, which is what I do, or having daily non-negotiables. And what I mean by this is, when we think about these projects that we're going to be implementing in our business, am I actually going to break down to focus on individual projects on individual days? Or am I going to give some attention to each project every single day? Now, when I say project, that's going to be something like building a sales funnel, putting together your offer, creating your marketing plan, growing your YouTube channel, growing your podcast, doing a PR outreach. Like, these are all projects. So if I broke down my year, we're going to do this right now for my business. If I break down my year, my primary goals for the next 12 months is to systemize my business and grow my team. It is to grow my YouTube channel, and it is to grow my business's income, because I have intention behind that. I don't just want to just grow it just for the sake of growing it. That's a big part of vision. Know why you want to do what you want to do. I want to host big events. Like, big events. I want to get people to come together. I want people to connect. I want people to stop feeling freaking lonely as entrepreneurs. I want to facilitate relationships, right? That's my big goal and dream. To do that, I need money, right? I need a lot of it. So in order for me to be able to do that, I need to grow the business that I have now to get to a financial position where I can facilitate this vision that I have. It's as simple as that. And so my big three things for the next 12 months is make more money. It's to systemize and grow my team. And it is to grow my YouTube channel, build my audience, essentially, right? And so the way they're big 3 projects that I'm working on. And so what I would actually do is break those down. Now, you may have 6 projects that you're working on. You may have 10 projects that you want to work on in the next 12 months. That's fine. Each quarter, I would say pick 3, right? There's 3 months in a quarter. Pick 3. Now, that's not saying you need to split it out into each month, but not to overwhelm yourself, pick 3 projects each quarter. So let's say we're focusing on now quarter 4 of 2019. Maybe you're just starting out in your biggest business. And so the first 3 projects that I would say focusing on for the next quarter would probably be getting a funnel in place, getting an offer out there, and developing your attraction strategy, right? They're probably the first 3 things that you want to do in your business. So then what you would do is, okay, say your attraction strategy was going to be, I'm going to start a podcast and a blog and Pinterest and all that stuff. And then I'm going to actually develop an offer. I'm going to develop a coaching program. That was your offer thing. And then the next thing was like putting the funnels in place. It's torrentially raining, by the way. How annoying. But putting the funnels in place. And so, as I said, what you can do is either take your week and split it up so that one day is purely just focusing on, podcasting. One day is purely just focusing on funnels. One day is purely just focusing on the offer, right? You can do it that way. Or what you can do is every single day putting a chunk into your calendar to focus on each. Sometimes if you're working full-time in your business, it's going to be better to be like, Tuesday is my podcasting day, Thursday is my offer day, Wednesday is going to be my funnels day, right? It's probably better to do that if you have a full-time job. If you're full-time in your business, it might be better for you to be like, okay, so every day I'm going to give a little bit of attention. Or if you're the type of person who can't work on things for a long time, then maybe it's going to be better for you to give a little bit of attention each and every single day. But what you want to do is come up with your daily non-negotiables. As I said, there's projects and then there's things that you're going to do consistently. Your things that you're going to do consistently is the branding stuff, it's the social media stuff, it is probably the visioning stuff, like how can I work closer towards my vision? And of course, it's going to be the mindset. These things need attention each and every single day. So that's what you need to do. You need to know, what do I need to focus on each and every single day? What are my daily non-negotiables? And then I'll fill the rest of my time with the big projects that I'm working on. Okay, so I just want to say that again, if any of this stuff feels overwhelming, if it feels confusing, if you are like, oh, I just still really, really want help. Amazing. I just joined a Simply Business last week and I cannot wait for it. I know if you're just on the fence, I say go for it. I just want to say some people can do this alone. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I personally don't know anyone who's built a successful 6-figure, 7-figure business who hasn't had a coach, a coach or a group coaching program or some type of help along the way. I personally don't know anyone. I think maybe there are people out there, but I personally don't know anyone. The reason for it is this information. Sometimes you just need personal feedback. You just need someone to say, hey, yeah, that's really great with your offer, but how about this? Hey, yes, these emails are all right, but let's just switch these 2 around because this is a better way to look at it. Someone who's done what you want to do, 6-figure year, 10K months, 1K months, whatever it is that you want to do, growing an audience online. Sometimes it's just really helpful if this stuff feels a little like I know what to do, but I just want someone to even further simplify the process for me. Joining a group coaching program like Simply Business is the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself. Actually, I really do think that the reason I am today is because I was doing all the research. I was learning all the stuff. I was watching masterclasses like this, but taking the leap to actually invest in myself and have someone to literally say, Erin, do this, 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 and this. Then this, this, this. Oh no, that doesn't really work. Then you can do this. That was one of the best things. Plus, it was so helpful to have a group of like-minded individuals by my side. I am still friends with some of the people from that group coaching program that I took at the end of 2016. Right? I am still friends with those people today because that's how relationships are formed, in that intimate group setting where you could really get to know one another because you're there with a common goal. Someone asked me the other day, how do you think friendships are formed as an adult? And I said, it's purely down to a common goal. You just chuck people in a room because, maybe like at the dog park, like I take Harvey to the dog park all the time, right? And yeah, we have a common interest, but we don't have a common goal. Okay, maybe to love our dogs is a goal, but we have a common interest, which is our dog. So yeah, maybe we may connect a little bit, but how true, really strong relationships are formed are because of a common goal. When you get in a group of people who have the same goal as you, it is almost impossible not to build deep relationships with those people. right? But Simply Business really is that program that is not only going to give you that support, but help you to accelerate your growth. I have given you literally the steps. I mean, you can take it or leave it today. I have not hidden anything from you. I have not made up anything. Those are the steps. Those are the things that you need to do. There is nothing else. There is no secret key. There is no secret thing that I know that you don't, that has allowed me to build a multiple six-figure business. That is what you need to do. The key is consistency. The key is not giving up. But if you find that you still don't have the mindset or the confidence to do this on your own, then I would say stop treating this like a hobby. You know, the hobby who just wants to buy $2 paints from the paint store. Go into the actual someone who's going to actually build a business. Invest your time, invest in yourself, take that leap. Here's the thing, like I always come back to the thing that made me invest in myself in the first circumstance was this concept of how can I expect people to pay me and invest in me if I will not invest in myself? It was as simple as that. Energetically, from a universal perspective, obviously I'm super into the law of attraction, but also from a practical perspective. If I don't believe enough in myself to invest in myself, if I don't believe enough in this vision, if I'm like, I'm not quite sure if it's going to work, so I don't want to risk putting money into it, how can I expect people to do the same for me? How can I expect people to pay me for my coaching services when I don't even know what it's like to be coached? It's as simple as that. That was what pushed me over the edge and helped me to make that decision. But really, at the end of the day, if you really, really, really want that support, if you want that acceleration, if you want the next 12 months of your life to just be an absolute wild ride of fun, of growth, of joy, of simplicity, of building a business in a way that doesn't make you want to pull your hair out, Simply Business is it's my absolute favorite thing. It's an incredible program. And why I know I'm saying it's my favorite thing, but it's my favorite thing because I know it's life-changing for so many people. I've just had so many messages from people and I love watching the growth of people. And like I said, like building those deep relationships with my audience, it really is the thing that is going to help you grow. So again, I feel like I need to repeat myself, but I want you to know that there's nothing that I've left out of today's masterclass. Like obviously we go much deeper into it in Simply Business and it's all about the accountability and support and there's resources and templates and Spite files and audio trainings and video trainings and workbooks and there's all of that stuff, right? It goes deeper. But what I want you to know is it truly is about consistency. You've just got to keep showing up. The people who give up are the people who give up. There's so many people. There's a 15% success rate of a business and it doesn't come down to any other factor other than the entrepreneur gave up. No matter what, if you keep going, you will get to where you want to go with business. So I'm just going to take a second and read some of the comments. I joined too, so looking forward to it. I'm so excited for those of you who are on the live who've already joined Simply Business. So I just want to answer some questions here, but it says, how would Simply Business be different from the Game Changer group? It purely is because of the intensity. So if you're in the Game Changer Collective, which is my monthly membership, obviously it's an amazing group, but the thing is with Simply Business, it's much more intimate. We actually have an intimate Facebook group where, however many people are in the group, you will be able to connect on so much more of an intimate level, but that's not even it. It's the group coaching calls where you can come on and actually speak to me one-on-one. There's obviously hundreds of people in the Game Changer membership. It's just not possible for me to sit down face-to-face with every single person. You tell me what's going on with your mindset, with your business. We look at it together. We screen share. Like this is so much more strategic. It's almost one-on-one, but it's in a group. The also ultimate other benefit of it is the fact that sometimes you don't even know what your question is. And this is, so many people have said this as a benefit of group coaching. I found this to be true for myself as well. But sometimes when we're on these deep, long group coaching calls, someone else will ask a question that you didn't even realize you were struggling with, and it helps you so much. You know how many times, and by the way, some of the calls in Simply Business are like 2-3 hours long, so just prepare yourself. But it's just so intense. Like you come on the call, you tell me what's going on, and sometimes you telling me what's going on and you telling me what's struggling, and I coach you for sometimes 30-40 minutes. That's longer than some of my one-on-one coaching calls, but that's just how it is with a group coaching program. Sometimes other people will hear you being coached and it will help them immensely. You have no idea how many times I coached someone on the group coaching call and everyone else was like, whoa, that was life-changing for me. There is so much power in the group energy and the group element, but there is so much power. You don't only get coaching yourself, but you get everyone else's coaching as well. So the way that it really differs from the Game Changer group is obviously the Game Changer group is very focused on the monthly content, where it's also very focused on the the excitement and the energy and having the question answers in the group, but this is coaching. This is true coaching, one-on-one to a certain degree in a group setting, but also it's just so much more intense and so much more intimate. The other thing is the sequence. We actually do this building block, whereas the Game Changer Collective is amazing content, of course, and we've got resources to help you, but there is just masterclasses that focus on different areas of business. This is, we are all working on our mindset together. Then we are all working on our business model together. Then we are all working on our office together. There is no woman, I was going to say no man, there is no woman left behind, right? This is really just about us doing all of those building block phases, one after the other, after the other, after the other, and really helping you to ultimately build your business. That's why I continuously say it's about acceleration. It's about speeding things up because of the intensity and because of the sequence of that. So hopefully that answers your question, my love. If I wanted to start a YouTube channel and create products to sell on YouTube, would that be 2 products? Yes. So the YouTube would be the attraction one, and then the creating the product would be another one. And break down that time by accomplishing one project at a time. Yeah, so you've got to think of what's the ultimate goal for each. Now, obviously growing the YouTube channel to sell the product, but growing the YouTube channel is a goal in and of itself. So I would 100% have the YouTube as one goal and then the product as another goal. I can't wait. I'm on annual leave and I've printed all the stuff. Yes! Oh my gosh, Simply Business is just going to be so amazing. I'm honestly so excited. Wait until you can take notes. I watched the replay in the middle of the night here. No worries. CEO mindset is key. CEO mindset is something that we 100% go through. It's the first module because obviously it's that foundation, but it's something that we come back to. Most of the calls end up going into some type of mindset conversation because mindset is just so important. And that's the thing. If the action's the action. I was thinking about this last night, actually. I was like, why is it so hard for people to take action? And I was thinking about, for me, the thing is cooking. I hate cooking. And I ended up cooking last night and I was like, you know what? This actually wasn't that bad. And I was like, why do I make it such a big deal in my mind? Why do I have this hang up, this block, this story about cooking? The action is simple. All I got to do is turn a pan on, put something in the pan, put something in the oven. That is literally the simplest thing I could possibly do with my time. And after I'd done it, I was like, that was so simple. I actually read 3 chapters of my book in the time that I cooked the meal that I wanted to cook last night. But I made it such a big deal. I was like, I spent time researching meal delivery services. I wasted more time researching meal delivery services last night than I just could have cooked the meal because I told myself it was so hard. Right? And that's what most people are doing in business. They're telling themselves that it needs to be hard. They're telling themselves it needs to be difficult. The action of itself, the pushing, going live and talking to your audience, it's simple. The writing out an email is simple, but it's the stories that we create about it that make it so goddamn difficult for ourselves. And that is what developing the CEO mindset is all about. Not making everything such a catastrophe and just doing the thing that you need to do. Love it. Thank you. Nice to meet you. What days and times are the group coaching calls? So it really does depend. So they're usually at the end of the week, most likely on the weekend. So it'll either be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, like Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, mostly on Saturday, Sunday. So content comes out on Monday and then the coaching calls are on the weekends. The reason for that is obviously I want to give you time to work through the content. Trust me, there's so much support. So if you didn't get to watch the content or something, we would help you catch up. But the reason for that, the reason why I don't have the exact times yet is because I like to look at all the time zones once the group is pretty much full, and I put all the time zones in a time and date converter with my team, and I choose the best times based on all the people who actually did join the program. So we don't have the exact times yet, but they are on the weekend. They do vary every single week. So if there was one week that you couldn't make it, you would definitely be able to make it to the next because they alternate, my morning, my evening, my morning, my evening. So they alternate like that. But also I do say that when I have my group coaching program, all the calls were at 2 a.m. and I woke up for them. So we just want to take a little bit of effort, yeah? But I really do try and make it as easy as possible for you guys as well. All right. I am officially losing my voice. And for those wanting to watch the replay, we don't want to make it 10 hours long so they don't get totally overwhelmed. As I said, no secrets here, guys. Just the steps. That's all you need to do. But if you do want extra support, Simply Business is there. It is available for you. I'd love to hear what you thought of this masterclass. I'd love to hear if you've got any questions on Simply Business. Please do not hesitate to either reach out to me on Instagram DM or reach out to me on Facebook DM on my personal profile because I want to voice note you back. But if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. One of my members of the Game Changer community just wrote a comment that I read literally just before this, which is the reason why I was so excited as well. And she said, you truly, really do care about the success of your clients, don't you? And I was like, I really do. It is my number one goal and focus is your success and helping you to get to where you want to go. I wouldn't do all of this stuff if it wasn't. But I really want to help you on a deeper level. Sometimes it's physically impossible for me to look at every single one of the, people that have come on this live, the 27, 28, 30, 40 people that have watched this live today. It'd be physically impossible for me to do that. I wish I could, but I can't. And that's why I do develop these programs like Simply Business, so I can help you on that more intimate level. My voice is fully going now. I'm going to sound like Phoebe and Friends. Calls over the weekend sounds amazing. Yes, so they're definitely over the weekend. Awesome, my loves. Okay, Jokey, I love you all. I hope you have an incredible day. Thank you so much for joining me here for this masterclass. Don't forget to go out there and be extraordinary, and I will see you really soon. Bye, guys.